Hello and welcome to YNWA Transfer News, your ultimate source for all Liverpool FC transfer news. Our first news is this. Arne Slot sent subpar Liverpool verdict amid missing Trent Alexander-Arnold claim. Liverpool have yet to reach the heights and fluency of Arne Slot's first season in charge, with a string of unconvincing wins giving way to 3 losses in a row going into the international break. And some fans in the Echo comments section think that things would be going much smoother if Trent Alexander-Arnold could have been persuaded to stay at the club. Arne Slot's worst patch of results in charge of Liverpool sees Arsenal leading the Premier League pack by 1 point in this early season period. Slot now has the international break to figure out how to better deploy the numerous new stars he's acquired from a big spending summer by owners FSG. Some pundits think that a greater effort should have been put on extending Trent Alexander-Arnold's contract last year. The right-back left the club in the summer, going to Real Madrid for a small fee in exchange for letting him leave in time for the Club World Cup. Speaking on the Rest is Football podcast, Gary Lineker said, "In terms of creativity as much as anything else, I think they're really missing Trent. Before that, sometimes Trent would go forward and they would perhaps get exposed defensively. But what he gives you going the other way, it's impossible to replace. There is not another player I can think of in world football who plays that position in the way that he plays it offensively." Jamie Redknapp agrees, saying on Sky Sports, "They've got problems at full back. They're missing Trent. They haven't played the same right back since the Burnley game. Connor Bradley had a tough 45 minutes. Milos Kerkez hasn't quite adapted either. The pressure of playing for Bournemouth isn't the same." Some fans agree that Slot must find a way to recreate Alexander-Arnold's influence on the pitch. Reader Darwinism says, "We absolutely missed Trent. I said in the summer that neither Frimpong nor Bradley were close to being as good. Some fans just didn't appreciate what Trent gave us. He was more than a RB, he was our playmaker. He was more like KDB, Kevin De Bruyne, from a right-back position. 50% of transfers fail, but I'm sure that percentage is far worse when you're replacing a best-in-position player. But dwelling on the past doesn't fix anything. Multiple players need to pick up the parts of Trent's game that we miss. Wirtz will be our new playmaker from a more conventional position, but he needs a lot more time. Bradley has shown he can be an excellent RB. He just needs to get back on track, and our midfield needs to take some pressure off him. Szoboszlai right-side midfield in front of Bradley in a 4-4-2 would help in my opinion. An extra man in the middle until Mac Allister is back to normal." Commenter Love Meadow writes, "The recruitment team has been subpar. They should have paid Trent higher wages instead of spending on the transfer fees. There is a reason Klopp said that Trent is the best right-back. But some fans and pundits always focus on his weakness, forgetting his contributions. The highest goal plus assists as a right-back in PL history. On our Facebook page, Luke Daniel Whittam says, "We do miss him. I have nothing against him leaving, won everything with us. But we miss his balls that will break defenses apart and even the switch play he does. But we move on. We've won 5, lost 2. Let's have the little blip now, and hopefully that's it for the season." Others warn against feeling too much nostalgia for Alexander-Arnold in particular. Hobgoblin writes, "They are not missing him half as much as they are missing Diaz. Slot has brought in too many at once, and they will need time to get used to playing with their teammates. Unfortunately, time is something you don't have in the Premier League, so they are learning as they go. So get used to the fact that we are not going to win the league this season." Hammond0789 says, "He's struggling for Real Madrid, barely getting a game. I don't think it's him you are missing." Rayon Smith adds, "Was Trent ever a great defender? Because that's what matters. So if he wasn't, it doesn't make sense speaking about him." Rio Ferdinand pinpoints major Liverpool issue that Arne Slot must address. What is it about former Manchester United players and tedious Liverpool analysis? Rio Ferdinand still has some way to go to match Gary Neville's lamentable prediction success rate, but he is on the right track. In his latest contribution to the discourse, Ferdinand has decided that he's cracked the code to Liverpool's problems. Never mind the fact that Arne Slot started the season with 7 straight wins and sits 1 point off the top of the table. The last 10 days obviously mean the Reds are in full-blown crisis. In fairness, Slot does have issues that need to be addressed, and even the title holders are not immune from criticism. But while the likes of Mohamed Salah can come under legitimate scrutiny, and Milos Kerkez is certainly still yet to really settle in, the ex-Man United defender has misdiagnosed the problem. Like many pundits, Ferdinand has honed in on Florian Wirtz as his scapegoat of choice. While nobody is denying that Liverpool would have hoped for a more impactful start to life at Anfield for the $156 million man, his struggles are very much a symptom rather than a cause. Naturally, there are legitimate questions to be asked. Slot himself withdrew Wirtz from the starting 11th against Chelsea, restoring last season's midfield of Ryan Gravenberch, Dominic Szoboszlai, and Alexis Mac Allister. But nobody who watched that first half could claim that Liverpool's problems were magically solved. Indeed, the Reds looked better when Wirtz was introduced at the break. It's hard to see how that reconciles with Ferdinand's analysis. He blames Wirtz for a lack of balance. I think balance in their team is the issue, Ferdinand claimed on his Rio Presents podcast. That's the key thing, finding the right balance. They've gone from having three midfielders. Szoboszlai, Gravenberch, and Mac Allister are all good grafters. All get around the pitch, all can cover for other people and make big sacrifices in their own game for other players. Whereas, like you say, with Wirtz coming in now, he ain't scoring, he ain't really assisting. He's not really impacting the games. He's working his nuts off. But he ain't having the impact that they probably anticipated. And like you said, with all the attacking players on the show, they're starting to get picked out. The simplest explanation is not always the best. Yes, Liverpool has looked more open, and that has coincided with the arrival of Wirtz. But one is not the cause of the other. Again, this is proved most of all by Liverpool's continuing issues when Wirtz is not on the pitch. Moreover, as Ferdinand himself references, Wirtz is working incredibly hard off the ball. While Slot did not bring him in to be a defensive workhorse, he is doing more than enough out of possession to pull his weight in the midfield. If anything, Liverpool should be looking to find a way to free him from some of those responsibilities. And if there is any balance issue, it lies with Salah. Liverpool has long since made a conscious choice to allow the Egyptian a lighter pressing load, but that's more pronounced when he is not matching his usual high standards of output. Even the defensive build-up concerns could be put down to balance, in the sense that Liverpool does not have enough of its creativity and incision situated close to its own goal. Ibrahima Konaté's pedestrian approach to playing out is harming build-up, especially with no Trent Alexander-Arnold to fire the ball into midfield or over the top. But none of this comes back to Wirtz. Far from being the root cause of Liverpool's problems, he stands to be the biggest beneficiary once Slot can set the issues right. Liverpool winger sends Arne Slot reminder after difficult injuries and loans. YNWA has been the breakthrough star for Liverpool this season, having become the club's youngest ever goal scorer when netting a dramatic winner at Newcastle United in August shortly before his 17th birthday. But several years earlier, it was the turn of another teenage winger to make a mark in the Reds' first team. Kaide Gordon burst onto the scene as a 16-year-old in September 2021, and a few months later scored in the FA Cup and started a League Cup semi-final win at Arsenal. Since then, though, the forward has had a difficult time, missing for 18 months with a pelvic issue and then managing only another 3 Reds appearances, the last of which was in February 2024, before 2 disappointing loan spells in the Championship with Norwich City and Portsmouth last term. Having only turned 21 on Sunday, time remains very much on Gordon's side, and he made the bench for the League Cup, third-round win over Southampton last month. But the youngster has otherwise been rebuilding his career with the under-21s and having provided an assist on his first Premier League 2 appearance of the season in the 3-2 defeat at Ipswich Town. On Friday night, Gordon netted in the 1-1 draw at Fulham. The Cottagers had a 100% league record going into the game, but Gordon struck on 11 minutes when scoring at the far post from Kieran Morrison's low cross from the left. Fulham, though, equalized with 19 minutes remaining when Aaron Lupolobi charged down and attempted Reece Williams' clearance and raced through to score. With Calvin Ramsey skippering from right back, it was only a 4th point from the opening 6 games for Rob Page's side to leave them 23rd in the 29-team league. Meanwhile, The U18 slipped out of the Premier League Cup with a 1-0 defeat at Leicester City in their second group game on Saturday. Simon Wiles's youngsters conceded the only goal through Joe Corden shortly before the hour, but came close to equalizing when Finn Inglethorpe struck the post. Liverpool U21s are next in action on Tuesday, October 14th, when they visit Crewe Alexandra in the EFL Trophy, kickoff 7 p.m., while the U18s have to wait until Saturday, October 18th, when they visit Manchester City in the U18 Premier League North, kickoff 11 a.m. Paul Scholes shares major Milos Kerkez concern as difficult Liverpool start continues. Milos Kerkez is the only Liverpool player to feature in all 11 games this season. But while Arne Slot has shown major faith in his new signing, the left-back has come in for some scathing criticism. Tasked with being the long-term successor to Andy Robertson, the former Bournemouth star has struggled to show his best qualities. On the rare occasions when he has unleashed his trademark bombing runs forward, his final delivery and decision-making has left much to be desired. Until recently, the positive results and the big-money arrivals of Florian Wirtz and Alexander Isak have served to keep some of the spotlight off Kerkez. But with Robertson tipped by Ali McCoist to fight for his place, Scholes is the latest to turn the focus on to the Hungarian. While Kerkez does not have the same match fitness defense as Isak, he still deserves the grace that should be being afforded to all of the new signings. They are adapting to Liverpool, and Liverpool is adapting to them. A process which takes a while at the best of times. In a summer where Liverpool has changed so many starting personnel, the disruption is bound to be bigger. And with the team in a wobble in terms of form, the ideal circumstances for a new signing to truly thrive are not present, with Hugo Ekitike the only one to really leave a mark. But Scholes has rushed to hasty conclusions. Speaking on the Overlap fan debate brought to you by Sky Bet, he questioned the Kerkez signing and became the latest to suggest Robertson will be restored soon. Milos Kerkez hasn't quite got going yet. He doesn't look up to the standard of a championship-winning team, Scholes claimed. Andy Robertson, everyone thought he needed replacing, but looking at it, did he really? I think he'll play a lot more football than he would have been expecting from what we've seen. In and of itself, restoring Robertson to the lineup for a while is not the worst idea. Liverpool is trying to change an awful lot at once, and there's merit in taking Kerkez out of the firing line for a period. After all, look at how Robertson got his start at the club. He played second fiddle to Alberto Moreno for months, only claiming the spot as his own when the Spaniard got injured. But taking things a little more slowly is a far cry from concluding that Kerkez is not up to standard and should not have been signed in the first place. Robertson still has plenty to give, but there was broad consensus last year that a successor for the 31-year-old should be on the agenda. And while Kerkez has undeniably been frustrating at times in his short Liverpool career to date, the questions lie as much with Arne Slot as with him. Many of the biggest problems can only be tactical. For instance, Kerkez must surely have been instructed to rein in his overlapping bursts. Slot has him looking infield for a pass more often, but it just looks awkward. Liverpool is yet to play to the 21-year-old's strengths, with width having been an issue in some of Liverpool's defeats. It is doubly infuriating that Kerkez hasn't been let off the leash to bomb up and down the flank. This, after all, is what Liverpool fans had in mind when demanding a Robertson heir. The peak version of the Scot had plenty of similarities with the Bournemouth version of Kerkez. It's just a matter of whether we'll be allowed to see that version at Anfield. Liverpool told how much Hugo, Ekitike-like forward would cost from Eintracht Frankfurt next summer. Liverpool are already planning ahead and thinking about who they could sign next. The Reds had a hugely successful time in the transfer market this summer, but this success has not exactly translated onto the pitch just yet. So far, almost all of the new signings have struggled to adapt, although Hugo Ekitike has been the one shining light that has proved to be an excellent addition already. The Frenchman has hit the ground running and has looked like a steal, with many likely thinking that Eintracht Frankfurt would be missing him a lot. However, that is not the case either, and their replacement for the Frenchman has started the season in great form, with Liverpool already keeping close tabs on him despite his extortionate price tag. Eintracht. Frankfurt set their price for Can Uzun. Many may think that Liverpool do not need any more forwards due to Arne Slot already having a selection headache with the likes of Ekitike, Alexander Isak, and Florian Wirtz, but the hierarchy seem to have other ideas. It is no surprise either, though, given how well Can Uzun has started the season for Frankfurt, with the Turkish forward scoring 6 and assisting 4 already. Liverpool are said to be big admirers of Uzun and were already thinking about making a move in the future. But that might now change, given Frankfurt's asking price. According to journalist Florian Plettenberg, the German outfit are demanding 80 miniters, 69.5 if they are to sell in the summer, a figure that could rise if he continues playing the way he is. The attacking midfielder as striker is said to have plenty of interest from teams in the Premier League, with many of them already reaching out regarding a potential move. The asking price is certainly a lot for anyone, let alone a 19-year-old, but as seen so many times before, Frankfurt have a knack for bringing through top talent and selling them for a big profit. Liverpool cannot justify buying. Can Uzun, there is no denying that Uzun is an excellent player who has a very bright future ahead of him, but Liverpool cannot justify spending that sort of money on a player similar to Wirtz. Both being number 10s, the Reds simply do not need another one, especially given how much they paid for the 22-year-old from Bayer Leverkusen. In other summers, Uzun would be seen as a great addition and an exciting prospect, but unfortunately, this is not the right time for him to make the move. It would be no surprise to see the teenager move elsewhere and hit the ground running like his former teammate Ekitike. But Liverpool must stick by Wirtz instead and hope they do not come to regret it. Thank you for watching. Like and comment, subscribe.